Yo, what is up, YouTube? As you can see, I changed my colors. It is Team Solary. And today I want to talk about the Trackmania World Cup, which is happening tomorrow, early European time at the Paris Games Week. I'm going to talk a little bit about the players, a little bit about how they got into the World Cup, and also go into a little bit of a prediction from my end, which obviously will be a little bit biased, but I'm gonna try to give my most unbiased preview of the Trackmania World Cup 2025. So, the 4 teams that made it, if you have been living under a rock, are Big with Massa and Granadi. We have Team Jetlag with Bren and Mudda. We have Solary, formerly known as Puff Bros, but for the World Cup, we managed to drive under the name of Solary, Carl and Pack, and then Team Nemesis, we have Mime and Push the Tito Paco. So, how did these players and teams get into the World Cup? You might be wondering, there's only 4 players, and for the people that don't know, the Trackmania World Tour this entire year had a regional-based system, as you would say. We had teams, well, Jetlag qualified through OCE qualifiers. We had Solary qualifying through the NA qualifiers. And then in EU, there were 2 spots. Well, guaranteed 1 spot and 99% a second spot. And that's why we have 2 EU teams. And I would like to take you guys back to a couple months ago when the first stage global playoffs ended with the result of the Puff Bros winning. And as you can see, Team Boca got second in the first global playoffs. So this was a playoffs after the first whole stage of regional tournaments that were played. And then this was the big wahoo where teams could battle it out. All regions battle it out. As you can see, we have Jetlag was in here. You had another NA team, Tesca GG. So all the regions came together to battle it out in the global playoffs number 1. First one was won by Carl and Pack. Boca got second. And Swift got third place. So, you might be wondering, why am I showing this? Well, as you can see, Boca is doing really good in this global playoffs, getting second place. And then as we go into the second global playoffs, all of a sudden, things are switching. We have Big, who pretty much was nowhere to be found in the entire season 1, dropping out in the first game, then barely making it through the lower bracket. All of a sudden, Big shows up in global playoffs number 2. And the reason for that is the winner of global playoffs number 2 would get an auto qualification to the World Cup. So all the teams throughout the entire year knew that the global playoffs number 2 was arguably the most important playoffs bracket in the entire year. Because not only were you able to get a lot of points here for your ranking, winning it would guarantee you a spot in the World Cup. So Big went on an absolute roll in this tournament. 3-0 Wild, 3-1 Carl and Pack, the Puff Bros Solary. Then they beat Nemesis, and then a huge upset. Boca lost to Nemesis in the lower bracket finals. And that meant absolute chaos. If you were on the live stream that day, we all had our calculators pulled out. Oh my god, is Boca still gonna qualify on points? Is Nemesis now gonna win by points? Is Big gonna win? Bloody, 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 this and that, yada, yada, yada. And in the end, it is Boca who gets the short end of the stick. Yes, because Big wins the tournament here. And I will quickly open this up. If we go to the EMEA's rankings, we can see, thanks to this global playoffs win, they pulled ahead in points. And they got 9.2k points. Boca is in second place. But you might be wondering, why is Boca not just qualifying in second? Well, they lost to Team Nemesis. So Big qualified by points, and because Team Nemesis got second, they qualify by global playoffs spot, the guaranteed spot. And Boca, who has where's Team Nemesis, 4.8k points to Boca's 8.4k, and Boca does not qualify for the World Cup after a phenomenal year of Trackmania. It is Nemesis who qualifies to the World Cup. And that leaves us with 4 teams left. The semifinals are happening tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. CET. Big versus Jetlag is the first one. And then after that is Solary versus Nemesis. These matches will be played in a best of 5 system, and the grand final will be played in a best of 7. So we have about 3 hours roughly of amazing Trackmania matches. Hopefully, that is what I hope for. We have only 4 teams here, but I am expecting some of the highest quality Trackmania matches that we've ever seen in this Trackmania World Cup. Now that we got the baseline settled, what do I think is gonna happen in these matches? Big versus Jetlag. I think Big is gonna have such a good momentum going into this World Cup after winning the global playoffs. Massa seems to be fully locked in, but I still think that Massa is a little bit of a loose cannon. He has his good days, he has his bad days. And we got to remember, at the World Cup, you don't have 2-3 hours of warm-up before you go into your match. So depending on how long of a warm-up period these players have, it greatly impacts Massa's performance. That's what I know from the past, at least. Maybe he has changed. We are, of course, a year later now, and maybe he has somehow found a way to adapt to this situation. But Massa is incredibly fast. And with a teammate like Granadi, who, in my opinion, has shown some of the most insane growth as a professional Trackmania player, while also maintaining a content creator career on the side. I mean, they are a deadly duo. I can't really think of a tournament where Granadi was not performing well. He is always consistent. He drives pretty freaking fast as well for being a consistent player. And then you match that together with Massa being like also extremely quick. They are a deadly duo. However, the thing with this format is that if you crash together, it is very, very, very brutal. And I wonder if Massa is not in the flow state. Can Granadi keep up the pace to save him perhaps in this match? Because they are playing against Jetlag. And this is a little bit of a dark horse in my opinion, because, well, we have talked and we have heard about Mada switching to wheel. Has he finally gotten to the point where he is equal skill level, consistency-wise, pace-wise, as he was on controller? I think we saw a first glimpse of this at the XP Evo a couple weeks ago, where he made it to the grand final. Unfortunately, his grand final performance wasn't that great. And is that maybe a sign of, you know, playing on like a higher stage or a higher round? Is that going to impact his nerves a little bit? I don't know. I didn't speak to Mada after the XP Evo, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. However, I still think that Mudda on pad is still a little bit better than Mudda on wheel. And maybe, I hope for Mudda's sake that this is finally the tournament where he is able to shine and showcase what he is truly capable of. Because he has a phenomenal teammate, Bran, a world champion in 2023, together with Otak, who unfortunately is not at the World Cup now. But Bran, you don't really think about Bran as, I don't really think about Bran as like the most insane, crazy player. But every time there is a massive tournament that he really wants to perform well at, he performs really, really well at. He prepares himself to the best of his abilities. And it shows because he was streaming a lot in the past 3-4 weeks. Or well, should I say 8 weeks. But the past 3 weeks, he has done 0 streaming. And that indicates that Bran is fully focused on just a strict training regime where he prepares himself for the World Cup. And I think those together, if Mudda is able to lock in and Bran performs the way I think he's gonna perform, this match is still gonna go to Big. I have a feeling that Big is gonna show everyone this year that they are a crazy team. And I think the scoreline here will be 3-1 actually. Yeah, I think 3-1 for Big will be the scoreline. And unfortunately, that means that then Team Jetlag is not gonna make it further in this World Cup, which is a bummer. I mean, you always want to see everyone win, right? But I would say the edge, I would give the edge to Big in the first semifinals. Second one is Team Solary versus Nemesis, and this is where my bias will obviously show, guys. I have been, well, do I say working with Carl and Pack in the past 4 weeks. I have built all of the part maps for both of them to prepare as best for the World Cup as they possibly can, right? I think I spent about 20 to 25 hours building maps specifically for them. There were evenings where they were like, yo, Tim, could you make an adjustment here? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. We need a new part map for this part. Yeah, okay, sure. So I've been working hard with them. I know how much they have practiced and prepared, and I don't think I need to go into details. It is Carl and Pack after all, and I really think that this is finally the year where Pack is probably going to become another world champion. He has been doing really well in a lot of tournaments, but always like falling short by 1 or 2 positions. So no need for further introduction of Team Solary, I would say. However, Team Nemesis, on the other hand, we have Mime and Push the Tito Paco. This is a team that is really ramping up. Not gonna lie, Mime, amazing player. He is he is just so skillful. I don't know how he does this, but he has some kind of aura around him where he's just always smiling, always happy, and he seems to be like, yeah, whatever happens. But I deep down, I think he also really wants to get to the grand finals here. Mime, insane player. If we recall back, he got second. Wait, did he get second in that World Cup against Carl Jr.? I can't remember which year, but it was a solo World Cup. And he was literally dominating the grand finals against Carl Jr. And he almost won it as well. But then again, you know, Carl Jr. Won it in the end. But so Mime has gotten really close to winning. And man, he has a teammate, a youngster in the name of Paco, who has shown insane growth throughout like the past 2 years. If we remember, in 2023 during the 2v2 qualification, he was setting world records in matches, and it was absolutely insane. Unfortunately, he was playing with a teammate that wasn't as up to par to Paco at the time, and they missed out on the qualification for that specific World Cup. So Paco has been trying his best to find his groove into Trackmania esports, and now with a teammate like Mime, I think they are a very deadly duo. Could definitely be a hit or miss though. I think the pressure might impact this team a lot, especially Paco, when you are playing on a big stage in front of a crowd. I mean, we're assuming there is going to be a crowd like at 10:30 in the morning. So that is that time will tell, actually. But I do think that Solary here will be the winner of this semifinals. And then we have the grand finals, which will be a best of 7. So most likely all of the maps are going to be played. It's going to be Big versus Solary. And in the winner, I have Team Solary to end it off. But it's going to be a very close match, guys. Like all of these matches are most likely going to be super close. But this is happening tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. I will be streaming it live on Twitch and on YouTube. So pick your platform. And we're going to have an amazing cast. I will already warn you guys, the Big versus Jetlag match, I will be as unbiased as I possibly can. But, of course, I am representing Solary for this World Cup. So that means that Solary will be obviously in the center of my commentary. And yeah, hopefully to see you there. If not, hey, maybe watch the VOD that is going to be published afterwards. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. And hopefully see you in the World Cup cast.